What did your child do that got them arrested but made you secretly proud? My 17-year-old daughter got arrested when 200 teenage girls refused to tell police where they got their prom dresses. The police called at 3 in the morning. I threw on clothes and raced to the station while my mind spun because he wouldn't tell me what she'd done, but said the boutique owner was pressing felony charges. When I arrived, the lobby was packed with parents and teenage girls all wearing prom dresses in every color imaginable, from deep purple to bright coral. They were all crying, but some were crying happy tears while others were terrified and clutching their dresses like someone might rip them away at any moment. I found Ella sitting in an interrogation room with her hands cuffed to the table, and when she saw me, she said, "Mom, I need you to listen to me before Mrs. Sterling gets here because she's going to lie about everything and make me sound like a common thief when really she's the criminal here." I was thrown at her boss being involved as Ella had been working at the boutique for a few months and I thought they were getting along well. She started talking fast because we could hear Mrs. Sterling's voice getting louder in the hallway, screaming about pressing charges and destroying futures. Mrs. Sterling had this red binder she kept under the register that she checked before selling dresses, and she'd turn away girls on the list. Like she turned away a girl from my chemistry class saying everything was sold out while hundreds of dresses hung behind her, and told another girl who wears the same size I do that nothing would fit her after seeing her mom's housekeeping uniform. Every rejected girl was either black or Hispanic or poor. I stayed late one night and photographed every page of that binder, and Mom, it had over 300 names with notes like welfare family or teen mother or food stamps or illegal probably or trashy or will lower property values at venue, and one girl had abort written next to her name because she'd had a miscarriage. She got the list from the school counselor, Mr. Sterling, her husband, who literally went through student records and marked kids whose parents were on food stamps or whose addresses were in certain neighborhoods in exchange for his wife giving free dresses to faculty kids. Ella stopped to take a breath, and at the same moment Mrs. Sterling burst through the door with her lawyer and her husband, and she started shrieking about how Ella had orchestrated a massive theft ring and broken into her store and recruited gang members to terrorize families. The detective asked Ella to explain what happened, and Ella looked straight at Mrs. Sterling and said, "I used my key to enter the store after hours, which technically isn't breaking and entering since I'm an employee with closing responsibilities, and then I loaded every single dress into a rental truck and drove them to a warehouse where I texted everyone on your red list to come get a free prom dress courtesy of the boutique's new inclusion policy." Mrs. Sterling's face went white when Ella mentioned the red list, and her lawyer asked what she was talking about, but Mrs. Sterling quickly said Ella was clearly lying to avoid punishment while Mr. Sterling suddenly looked like he was going to be sick. Ella pulled out her phone and showed the detective the photographs of the red binder and said, "I have pictures of all 347 names you blacklisted, including notes about why each girl wasn't good enough to shop at your store, and I copied all the security footage of you turning away crying teenagers." The detective looked at the photos, and his expression changed completely as he read the notes next to each name. Then one of the other officers came in and said the warehouse was full of families who were refusing to leave and demanding to know why their daughters were on a list that said things like father in prison or Section 8 housing or free lunch program next to their names. The detective asked how many dresses were actually recovered, and the officer said maybe 6. The girls were literally ripping tags off and putting dresses on in the parking lot, and their mothers were forming human chains to block us from taking them back. One woman even screamed, "This is the first time my daughter has smiled since her father died." Mrs. Sterling demanded the police arrest every single girl who took a dress, but the detective said that would mean arresting over 200 teenagers who genuinely believed they were receiving donations from a legitimate charity event, especially since Ella had created professional-looking invitations for the boutique's community outreach prom giveaway and had even put Mrs. Sterling's name on them as the sponsor. The detective pulled out a different document and said, "Mrs. Sterling, I'm more interested in this list. Refusing service based on race or economic status is a federal crime, and you've documented 347 instances of civil rights violations with your own handwriting. And Mr. Sterling, these student records you accessed and shared with your wife make you an accomplice to federal discrimination charges, plus you violated FERPA laws." Mr. Sterling stammered, "I just came to support my wife. I don't know what you're talking about." But the detective held up pages showing his school email account sending spreadsheets of student information. The charges against Ella were dropped after 40 families filed a class action lawsuit. Mrs. Sterling had to close her boutique after losing her business license, and Mr. Sterling was fired.